Hey guys, just got back from Wally World run with the boy. Did some grocery shopping. It was good. Um, y'all, I wanted to kind of go into this Epstein topic. It's pretty hot. A lot of people are talking about it now. It's become a political thing, guys. This Epstein list came out years ago. Okay, I remember the early times when it came out, and people really weren't talking about it, except for your conspiracy guys. And they've managed to, turn it into a, right-left paradigm. You got one side that's wanting to compare it to, MAGA, and then you got another side that wants to say it's the liberal Hollywood elite, and they want you to either look, right or left, so that you can't look in the middle and see the truth, and that's on purpose, guys. And it's a shame, and it's really gross and sickening to see that so many people just, are okay with using, abusing children and hurting innocent children for a political game. And it's really embarrassing to see so many people falling into the trap. And sometimes I have to ask myself, did you fall into the trap, or are you just distracting and deflecting? And, the news is doing this thing that they always do, where they tell you a little bit of truth with a lot of lie. Guys, the best lies have a little bit of truth in them. A high up, occultist taught me that. Best truth, or the best lie, have a little bit of truth. And that's what they're doing. So, what's the truth with this Epstein? The truth is that there are people that abuse children, and they traffic them for really gross, sick purposes, all kind of, really grotesque stuff. I don't want to go too much into the details, to be honest, because, you already know what it is. But what's the lie? Or what's the distraction, I should say? Well, it's to keep you focused on all the people in Hollywood. People that you don't interact with. When's the last time you interacted with Jeffrey Epstein or anyone like him? Talking about us normal folks. Middle class America, and under. Who cares? I care about the children, but I don't care about the political, script about it. Because the reality of it, and what they're trying to get you to look away from, is the fact that these pedophilia rings aren't just Hollywood elites. It goes down to the local level. The sad thing about it, guys, the pedophile rings in your smallest town. Yeah, all over. And they want you to look at Hollywood and look at that, and to keep being worried about that. When the reality of it is you need to be worried about the kids in your hometown and who you got them around. Your own children. And you need to be noticing this. Taking note. Okay? Because they do this in your hometown. The exact same type of ring. In fact, sometimes those higher ups and the elites will pick up. They'll choose kids from these smaller towns. Their folks will sell them. Or sell time with them. Maybe get someone to pay off a mortgage or something if they sell their little boy to them. Whatever. That's the truth. That's the reality of it, guys. They want you to look at the TV and be worried about people on TV instead of thinking about what's going on in your local level. Because it is going on in your local level. So just be aware of this, y'all. It's sad. I'm not saying that, because it does go on in Hollywood. But the thing is we're, us real people, The debt slaves? We ain't in Hollywood. But they're still doing it to us. So it's time to wake up, guys. Start asking start looking into the people that want to be around your children all the time. I'm going to tell you straight up, like, I find it a red flag when strangers are overly eager to be around my kid. I'm going to tell you, one time I was considering doing some church work at a church. I'd known the pastor. He was like my old youth pastor at one point. And he was pastoring a church in a small town. And he was wanting me to come and do worship. Like we used to do when I was, in my early 20s and stuff. And I came in for practice. And I already had my son. And, people were just so willing to be like, hey, well, you can leave your son alone at the pastoral while you practice if you want. I said, heck no. And I had my wife with me. I said, no, he's going to stay with his mom. We're going to be watching him 100% of the time while we're here. There's not going to be a single moment where I have my eyes off of him. But they were so persistent. Oh, you can leave him with us. We're safe. Yeah, sure you are. So keep that in mind, y'all. Because there's a whole lot of people in your local community, and they love to disguise them as little programs or sports and things like that to get into. I mean, how many baseball coaches are we going to hear about, or volleyball coaches that we're going to hear about having some kind of pedophile issue? And we're not going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the people in Hollywood instead of your local coach who keeps getting busted in town, but we ain't going to address it. Come on, y'all. It's time to wake up. It's time to wake up and ask more questions. Y'all have a good one.